I was waiting on the screen. And so anyway, we want to jump right into our message. I first want to say thank you for even considering to take a minute to listen to what the Spirit of the Lord has been downloading into me. I tell you, it has truly been an experience just being quiet before the Lord and kind of cutting everything out that would usually take up a whole bunch of my time. But listen to me, I want you to get a pen and write some of these things down. And I pray that you will be willing to share this information with those who are really, really doing their very best to start a ministry or are running a ministry already by the leading of the Holy Spirit, and that you would truly, truly take some time to think about what God is saying to you for such a time as these. Now, it's been very, very difficult for me because so much download has come because I'm like, okay, Daddy, but last night, I don't know when you got this information, but whenever you got it, just start with the water, okay? Start separating yourself and make sure you turn that cell phone off and do not get into the social networks while you're doing that fasting hour. As you know, of course, because we started at 6 a.m. this morning and it ends at 1, you know, I haven't eaten anything but water. To God be the glory. But guess what? I got so much more revelation to share with you concerning what Daddy has been downloading in me. And so it's up to you. You know, I tell people all the time, I have no cookie cutter for you. All I know is I have prophetic insight, prophetic revelation that will help you to apostolically, to be able to take what God has already given you to go to another dimension. I'm not going to stay on here and talk no more about that because I want you to just get a pen. Let's think about what we're going to talk about first. We want you to think strategically. This is what he showed me. You get a little water here. And I want you to do the same thing. Now, we do a lot of things and we plan a lot of things. But before you do anything else, before you say, oh, I'm going to have a conference, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, or oh, I'm going to involve someone in what God wants me to do, or I'm going to get involved with somebody else, what they're doing. No, 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 no. We're in time right now that strategically you got to hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying to you based on what he's given me. And I know he wants you to know because I couldn't go to sleep. I was like, oh, I'll just share little notes here and there. No, no, no. He said, I said, record it and upload it. And so then they would be able to get the information. So I could not upload it. So here we are live. Me and my girl, scarves and all. So you start to get a little anything because he wants this uploaded and it takes too much time for me to upload. So listen to me. Here we go. And so as we begin to think about what he has shown me in relations to preparing us for the government. Now I want to get over here real quick. So you'll see me looking over here for a minute because we're on a classroom now. What I sent out to you was those keywords was rainfall and strategy. Okay, so let me share with you what rainfall, how this has been merged together for you to understand what he is saying in regards to rainfall strategies. Okay, you got to know that we all who are sons and daughters of the kingdom, all of us who love God, all of us who are fighting in this war, we know that we have got to enlist. We got to enlist people who we know that Daddy God has qualified by kingdom, and that we got to understand in Revelation. This is what he want, when he wanted, and how he wanted. But the problem is that many times we're looking for the rain. I'm going to tell you in a minute what that means for those who haven't already checked it out. For the rainfall strategy, and we're fasting and we're praying and we're saying, Daddy, I don't understand. You know, I thought you want me to do this. I thought you want me to, you know, to go here or do this. Or I thought this was going to be my husband. I thought this was going to be the person who's going to be able to work alongside of me. I thought this was going to be my armor bearer. You know, I thought. No. It's too late to think on what we are going to do. We got to know. We are fighting principalities of all kinds. So here it is, the word rain. As you know, the rain means that it's a period of sovereignty of our Daddy God who rules, who is of what we call royalty, that we are a royal priesthood. And then, but it's the sovereignty of God. It is the dominating power that he has given us to influence those who are lost by his word and by the Spirit of God, we can draw them in. But there is going to be some strategic ways that we're going to have to look at, where am I falling short? Why this is not growing? Because over the years, 40-something years of ministry. Now, when you first start out your ministry, of course, everything looking good, everybody's rolling, everything looks good, everybody's connected. But then all of a sudden, things start to slowly dwindle down. And it's not, look like it's not growing no more. Look like it's, not picking up more people, or you're not connecting to more souls like we so desperately want to make sure we satisfy Daddy and being that witness, of who he is and what he can do in the lives of the lost. Well, that rain fall, which means that we need to prepare for the glory to fall through us. We've got to have strategy to make sure that we enlist. That means that we strategically plan to do it the way he wants to do, not the way it's going to make the money for you, not the way it's going to look better for you. But we got to look at it in a 2020 apostolic prophetic type of strategy, so that everything that lines up is going to fall strategically based on what he's showing you that what you need to do. Now, let me read this shit to you. I think y'all got this flyer. I think it says we're going to be going over a couple of things here. This is going to be more like just a prelude into where Daddy is taking us, because these classrooms is going to be some intense stuff that's going to help you in preparing if you haven't already started ministry, or if you have a new ministry, or if you have a ministry that it seems to be dry. It seems to be stagnated. It seems to be something that you're having to constantly do things to get to from point A to point B. We got to look at what principality within the ministry or business that's causing you to delay or to be derailed. We know we got the witches and all this stuff, but where are you in your rainfall strategy? And so I think I said here, let me see if I can read this because I can't see hard for these lights. I said that I wanted to cover areas for you to identify. Let me see if I can bring it up so I can see it better. How to identify and how to make sure, I made it too small, y'all. How to identify and to make sure that you understand. Let me get there. I'm trying to get there. Okay. Here we go. It still keeps going too small. Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to see that because I can't see it. But anyway, I think what my main focus is to get you to how to identify really who's involved with your ministry or business. Try to identify some key areas about what do you really want and where are you really headed, and and what do you think is going to take. Okay, in a nutshell, some of those are there. So much more I'll be covering for you to understand what's wrong with having people who have been with you for a while, who's probably not even skilled or probably don't even qualify to be a part of where God is taking you. So anyway, let me get straight into this message. I pray this part helps you because I can't see through these lights. And I pray that you will take what God has shown me and take these to another dimension for what Daddy wants to do through you. All right. So let's think strategy. Okay. When I say strategy, when I say rainfall, I'm talking about the glory of God falling into places that you'll understand what he's trying to show you that is not going to be good in regards to relationship, wrong relationships, wrong people who do not qualify for the vision, who do not qualify for where you are going. And so in this series, I'm hoping that I can look at one particular premises of the scriptures that I've given you, and the scriptures that I have given you comes from Romans 11:33, Isaiah 49:6, and then Isaiah 54:2, and the book of Jude. Okay, read these chapters. Okay, but one of the ones I want to look at today that I really want you to recognize is the fact that because we are looking for the rainfall, that means the apostolic prophetic rainfall, getting people in a militant, mean a warfare position. And the only way you're going to be able to do that, you're going to have to take some time to be alone. Meaning, again, not talking to nobody is costly. Okay, my phones have been off here for, I don't know, I guess over a month. And the only time I get on them is when I'm out of my, place with Daddy. I think it's very important that we spend this time looking in the spirit, watching, seeing what Daddy is saying to you about where he is taking you. And so in Isaiah chapter 54, verse 2, which I think is very, very key, he says, enlarge the place of thy tent. He said, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. Now, the part that I think that's really powerful was verse 3 too, even though it's not in your word and water directives. It says, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Now, we have a lot of dry places that need evangelism. We have a lot of places, even around your church, if you are a pastor watching me, that needs evangelism. But what the problem is we got a lot of people in a lot of positions. You know how they say you top heavy? You got a lot of people in a lot of positions who are not being constructively and strategically put in positions based on their anointing and the gift. We're not going to just think just because they got a gift, they're anointed. So in order for them to be able to really, really meet what you need to be able to strategically have your borders stretched so that you can go and do what Daddy's called you to do, you got to think strategically about, let's see, this is who's on my board. This is who is my deacon. This is who is the secretary. These people are governmental types of people within your organization or your business. And if you do not get with Daddy God about the character, about what God is using them for with you, about where they are in growth. And when I say growth, Holy Spirit had me write something down. Let me get that out now. When I was out, because that's why I had to, I don't like late. That's why I was running a couple minutes off schedule because I had to run out and run an errand. But while I was sitting there waiting on my turn at my errand, this just popped in my spirit for me to make sure I share with you. And we're going to get more into that as I talk about this lesson. He was showing me that many times, he said, warn them. He said, many times we get those who demonstrate what you are looking for and may have you may have a need for, but they do not qualify for the service to do the work to the glory of God. Why? Because they have not been graced, Sunday, for the seen, this is their key, for the seen and the unseen warfare that God has put to your hand. They don't fit. They fit in other places, but they cannot fit in the governmental position without being graced. They're a good secretary. They take notes good. They're always on time and all that. No. Please share this video because you want to make sure you help a sister and a brother out. You want to make sure you help a leader out. Make sure that you listen to all 8 of these messages because they're prophetically driven to get you in the apostolic, prophetic, and most importantly for this last day, evangelical rainfall. Let's go. And so anyway, let me get back to the main thrust of this message in regards to what Daddy was saying about thinking strategically, okay? One of the things that I learned from the study as we begin to get into what God has called us to do, we have a tendency to say, well, don't have anything to do with church in regards to people who are leading ministries or having businesses. When I had my business, I told everybody, I love God and I'm going to pray it here and we're going to do this. Meaning if you have a problem with that, then bye-bye. Because it was God that even got me in this building for me to do this business. Okay, this is a secular business, but I am a spirit-filled woman owning a secular business. So when we get people that we think because they qualify and they are in secular realm of profession, that we need to make sure that these people don't just be. Let me make sure I look at my timer here because I want to go with my time. Okay, I can't see it. I don't want to give me. Okay, there you go. Okay. So when we find ourselves allowing people to come in our mix because of the fact that they got a little money and they're gonna give to you, or they're gonna sow it to you, or they're gonna help you in areas that you may be weak in and all that. I want you to know that that's not gonna work. Okay. And so in the next part of this lesson, I really want to share about 3 areas that we need to focus on as I go through these teachings for you to think about. Number 1, where do you want to go? Okay. Where are you trying to go right now? So where are you right now is number 2. Okay. Where are you right now? You already know what's not straight. You already know it need to be straight. You already know what's not growing. You already know who is not growing with you. You already know who is giving you a problem. You already know these things. So, and some of these problems, we got to recognize that they are divine, because Daddy sometimes needs to shake us through other people to get us to grow and go. I don't want to preach. Anyway, and so where are you now? What is your current situation? Okay. And, and where you want to go? That means what is your destination? Number 3, how will you get there? See, this is the key for strategy. Knowing that you got a plan. First of all, a lot of plans, if they're not God plans, you might as well throw all the ideas away, because they have to be strategically put together first through you and Daddy God, and then you plan who's going to be the governmental body that's going to help you with the plans. I hope you got it down. You can go back and rewind all you want. At least I'm trying to get it out real quick. I'm at 16 minutes now. I got to get out here. So anyway, so what can we do then, Dr. Murphy, to make sure we plan ahead and get things the way we need to get? So I'm going to share this part with you right now. First of all, the benefit of you planning is making sure that you get those people who are manageable, who are loyal, who are humble. These are words that many leaders do not flow in today. This is the reason why we got a lot of stagnated ministries today, a lot of ministries who are slack and weighed down with ministry, because you got people who are slack, and you got to assess yourself to see where you at. I never in my life seen so many ministries who want to talk about on time God, and you ain't on time, not even to get anything done ministry or business wise. That's a great sign right there. See, Daddy looks at how are you handling kingdom business. Are you late all the time? Okay, so let's look at that. Number 1, you got to look at better ways to manage your time. That's number 1. We got people who are sucking our times. I'm not going to get into that now because that's later on up the road in this lesson. But people who are sucking your time, this is where one of the areas I believe the benefit of strategy is going to help you, when you learn how to make sure to strategize your time. Sure, you got to meet with some people who ramble on. Sure, you got to meet with some people who drain up and take up a lot of your time. And the only reason why they do it because you're not strategizing your time. Time is one of the most delicate things in the entire world, that we got to make sure that we handle very strategically, to make sure you won't waste time. Because after this time that I'm showing you today, time that you do or whatever you do with it is going to be your time. But guess what? The time that you use to take what you learn from here and utilize any nuggets you can get out of this, Daddy God's going to say, you heard what I said about time. But yet you're texting, yet you won't get with me and spend no time that I can get you to see where I'm trying to take you. And so how are we going to do that then, Dr. Murphy? Well, first of all, time requires us to make very, very serious decisions when it relates to seasons and times in our lives. Many of us cannot get that season and time understood when we're too busy spending time on frivolous things, too busy spending time on the phone laughing. I've gotten to the point now, it's very difficult since I've been in this meeting time with Daddy. It's very difficult for me to spend too much time with people who just want to sit around and talk about it. I mean, even family members. You got to make sure that you do not be hindered. That's there. Be hindered with a whole bunch of he said, she said stuff and a whole bunch of grumbling and complaining, because this stuff is assimilating exactly where you are in your time and what you are focusing your time on, and those people that you're leading, you can expect the same thing out of them. I don't want to preach, because that's where they are. It's on the head. It's on the head. It's on the head. It's where your head is in your time. Yes, God. I had to reposition my time. That means I had to cut things out. Things that I thought that it was not going to go well if I cut it off. No, Daddy said, "Oh, you willing to cut it off?" I said, "I'm willing to shut it down. So just take away everything, but don't take away your presence." You know what? That's what time says. Time says that His presence means more to you than anything. Anybody? Got it? Okay, number 2. The second benefit for you to strategically plan is to make sure that your intentions and your motives are godly. Make sure that these intentions or motives are from God and not from trying to look influential, super spiritual, or looking like you got it going on and big and wonderful. A lot of people have spent a lot of money getting fine cars and houses and clothes and things, and now they're trying to figure out how they can take them back, how they can figure out to get out of this debt, how I'm going to live in a house that's living on me. Ding dong, been there. Bad house, bad car. You better make sure I hurry up and park them all back, because I believe that Daddy means more to me than anything and anybody. And so I don't care what they're saying. She lost the house. No, I gave up the house. She lost the car. No, I didn't lose the car. I gave up the car because I believe the car was consuming my time in my mind, that I got to focus on how am I going to get this stuff paid. Why? Because my faith wasn't big enough to keep it. I don't talk to you. So your faith is out of a sync of time. That means your motives. That means your intentions. That means your seasons. The time to do a thing, the season to get a thing done is not now. You're not going to know that unless you're in His presence. Number 3. A third benefit that comes with you strategically planning is to make sure that you think about how to renew your sense of the taking away the fear of saying no. See, a lot of people who don't know how to say no, I thank God that I got a PhD in no, and don't care who don't like it. You know why? Because while you doing you, and I'm trying to do you, what I said God told me to do, I'm too busy trying to do you, and what God told me to do is being slack and lack, because I want to get with you. You know, I want to make you happy. I want to make sure your stuff get done, because I believe God has put you with me, and I want to make sure that I help you. I do not want to preach. Let me tell you something. See, what happens is you have lost sight of what God has told you to do, because now you got the time that you cannot change that. Sure, He redeems time, but you trying to redeem time for something that you've been out of order about. Okay, you can't be praying, "Lord, help me get this done, Lord," and He's saying you had time. But while you was over there with Sally and Joe, your sister, your brother, you know, going and hanging out, you had time to make sure you strategically to do what I divinely given you to do. Not your intentions, but my prophetic, my apostolic, evangelical call on your life. And so that means we need to pray to make sure that we know our time. That's individual. Okay. Know your time and your season of what? The decisions and the service that God is appointing you to do. And it won't be no strain. It won't be no confusion. It won't be no question mark about should I, because we're going to know if Daddy has deterred you off. Too many people today are wondering why things are not working. Too many people today have ministries that are clogged up because they are backlogged in things that Daddy been telling you to do for years. But while you're sharing your vision about what you're supposed to be doing, they copycatting that, and they're excelling in something that they copycatted that you could have made sure that Daddy had, you know, put His anointing and glory on. But you're too busy doing what you want to do in your season, in your way, and then now you're derailed. And Daddy's saying, see, you missed that season. Now you got to go back around the mulberry bush. You got to go around and hang around this wilderness because you abandoned. I summed it up. You abandoned spiritually your season and your time. Number 3 is, did I do number 3 yet? Let me see. Yeah, number 3. Number 3 is a third thing that we need to look at is how in the world are we going to plan something when we have not looked at specifics that we need to look at in our organizations and our ministries. When I say organizations, I'm really referring to businesses too. You know, we got to believe that Daddy wants to use us. He wants to have us to pull from heaven so that he can give us. He wants us to get in his presence. This morning, I was praying for all those who join me, and I was saying, Father, help them to see that they can pull from heaven, and that you ain't got to see all these things in the natural as much as you got to make sure that you see them with your eyes in the spirit. Why? Because if you see them in the spirit, Daddy gave that to you. He is responsible, and most importantly, he's accountable. He is true. What he's giving you, if he showed it to you and it's not something that you have a selfish or a prideful motive about, you know that this is a burning in your spirit that Daddy's telling you to do, you can rest assured that these changes are going to come. These areas that he wants you to transition into so that the rainfall can come on the ministry. So those things that are tough, or those areas that in ministry where people are giving you problems, or you can't seem to get this one thing that Daddy wants you to get up. I bless God that he gave me revelation. That's the reason why a lot of things have been cut off. That's why you have not seen me. I haven't personally cut you off. What I've done is I've cut off seasons and times of things that I know that I got to focus less on and put more focus on these things, okay, that he's told me to do. Because as an apostle, I'm always trying to help. I'm always trying to build up and make sure I shake off old residue that's holding people up. Sometimes as an apostle, we can get off because of the anointing on our lives to raise up, to build, to birth out as a spiritual mother that I am. I believe that in the time that Daddy's talking to you, he wants you to understand that you can pull strongly from the Holy Ghost on these areas that he wants you to realize that you can do. He wants you to pull strongly, and he wants you to stabilize. He wants you to focus. He wants you to make sure that you cut off and prune and spiritually qualify, not just those people who are working up close and personal with you, but also he wants you to spiritually qualify every decision that you're getting ready to make. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is in his presence. See, because when you have real serious things you need to do, you got a church note. You got people that are giving you problems. How are you going to speak to them? You got witches that are coming in boldly today. That's why you need to read Jude. You got people boldly coming into the church, performing as they are anointed. And they are there as witches and warlocks. And one of the things that I have learned is the worst thing that a good leader who can see and a prophet who can see is to let the devil know you can see them. That's the worst thing you could do. You see, Jesus told Judas, that you do quickly. But did he go into any further? See, we want to give too much information. One of the greatest things I think that we could work on for these processing, and I'm going to get ready to get off here, and we're going to start back on tomorrow, and I'll share with you where I'm going to jump in on tomorrow so you can get your pen and pad ready, and please invite somebody and share the link. I pray. So number one, you want to look at where are you and what Daddy told you to do. What is your mission, really? You have to go back over and think about, is this what I say I'm doing, or is this what I'm doing because they doing it? That it's going to make me look more super spiritual. It's going to make me look more bigger or more anointed and draw more people and get more donations. I know I'm talking to somebody. Or is this something that I need to be doing now and preparing now to get my spiritual government team together so that we can pray about, number one, the process, the strategy and planning to make sure we go back and look at these things. I hope you're sharing this. Number one, what is the real reason that you're doing it anyway? What is the mission? What is the cause? Where are you? People write a lot of missions for nonprofits and everything else and ain't going through none of them. Ain't doing none of them. Okay? It just look good. It just sound good. But, what truly do you and your governmental team believe together in a unified force? That means you have a gatekeeping, unified, militant type of team that's governing alongside of you to make sure. I said, I want to preach. So I think about what Daddy downloaded, it just makes me want to holler. Even though I knew these things, but when you used to doing ministry so much, these things start to sift away from you And the enemy knows that if he keeps you busy enough, you won't remember. All you know is do the good work, do the good work, do the good work. And then you're doing all the good work and no strategic planning. I know I'm talking to somebody. No strategic planning. You don't have your gatekeepers government. And I'm going to talk about that later on in this lesson. Preparing you how to strategically, and that may be at the end, how to strategically get your gatekeeping government team together. Number two, vision. Many of us have many visions, and many pastors and leaders today, they're not visionaries. Look the word up. What they actually are is one who set up, but they are not in God's space long enough for the vision to pursue what God has told them to do. They're too busy trying to make sure they watch over the sheep. We talk about pastors right now who said that they have a vision. We talk about nonprofits who have a vision. But they bring in people who look good, who got money, who can possibly help their ministry grow. I know I'm talking to somebody. And then you have no, how they say, no true seed from what daddy has told you. It has not been nourished. It has not been nurtured. You refuse to get anybody to mentor you that is anointed and called by God and appointed by God, not because you chose them, because you like how they teach and you like what they do and you like their side of the church and you like to see where you can probably go with them. No. See, you need to make sure that your vision statement is one that Daddy God has given you to do for the future, not just now. Too often we work on now. We know we're going to do now anyhow. But what about ahead? See, that's what we got to look at right now. The enemy is sitting up. I told you about the dream. The demon's sitting up having a meeting about me, but we won't have a meeting about nothing. We won't even have a meeting about how they come into church half naked, how we can work, help dress these women. You know, when I tell them that your dress too short and they run away and then you lost soul. You know, we won't have a meeting about none of these things about how we're going to address these that come in that are same-sex lovers. How are we going to strategically take a vision statement and make sure that it's going to be thrusting what God has called you to do now for the future? Number three, your value statement. This is so important. This is very important because your value statement says what your heart really means about this thing. Okay. Your value statement is one that too often we don't do because we don't think we need to tell nobody what I value. No, the devil is a lie. I value that my lungs, I want them to stay clean. I value them. So no, don't smoke around me. But we don't exert our value. So you need to put that and make sure that everybody know what you believe in pertaining to your values for what God has given you to do. Number four, I love the SWOT theory that I forgot the author who wrote this, but he used an analogy to make sure that we look at some things that I talked about earlier on. We need to look at the internal, okay? We need to look at the external and assess them to see who's weak, where's the weak link, where's the hater that look real good and hug you every Sunday and always on time. We need to assess spiritually of the one that say, y'all need to quit talking about my pastor. You better leave my first lady alone. Those are the ones you better watch who always want to come over and help you. Be very, very careful because you need to assess internally, externally. You need to make sure that you're looking at the S. What is the strength in that individual? Where is your strength? How well do you see? Do you discern? Is your mind doubled because you're being challenged financially? Now your mind that went from doubt and unbelief, and you're not stable because you're being challenged so much with the weights of the ministry. You have no help. You need emotional counseling to get you through, but you're too prideful to go get it. Let's go on. The W. Weaknesses. How weak are you when it comes to making sure you make corrections and correcting people? And I think that's what people call me, too sharp and too cocky. But guess what? I'm not going to be fake with you. I tell people all the time, one thing I will not do, I will not be fake with you. I'm not going to give you no fake hug. Matter of fact, If you hug me and I know you're fake, I may whisper something in your ear. One thing I do know to let you know, don't play. Don't play. It's too late. Daddy sees your heart. Daddy knows the state of your mind and your conscience concerning the individual or the matter. I think it's very important that we begin right now, because why do you want to keep waiting around for Daddy to deal with you about something that you know you're supposed to be mature about already? I want to breathe. When you know you're weak in your flesh and you know you want to make love, you know you want to be with somebody, come on, get the help you need. Don't keep assigning people you know weak with these children. You know they got backgrounds. You thought you want to give them a chance. They're ex-offenders. You want to give them a chance. True, we're supposed to give them a chance. Daddy's giving us a chance every breath we take. We still here. But we got to use wisdom, okay? Use wisdom and make sure you check the weaknesses so that you won't regret that and be on the news that you gave somebody a chance who now is funding the children in the children's church. Well, I don't want to read. Anyway, the O in SWAT, opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities that you can get and that we can get out of this strategic move of God that I'm trying to teach you now. But the opportunities are being passed by because you won't even take the opportunity that Daddy is giving you to do the spiritual assessment on yourself first. That's that time I was alone with Daddy. That's exactly what I did. I went, let's see. And I just started booing. Yes, he does get on my nerves. Yes. Oh, God. Lord, help me. Cleanse my heart, Daddy. Create a fresh spirit in me. Anoint me again. And I won't forget this. I want to share this. I will not forget. I could feel like fresh oil being poured from the corner of my head down. I said, I need a fresh anointing. I put fresh oil on me, Daddy. I said, I feel so broken. I feel so hurt. I feel so disappointed in myself. Help me to forgive myself when I know you have, because I repented, Daddy. Help me not return to the vomit of the steam. Daddy, help me. Help me to love them and see them through your eyes, Daddy. Help me, Lord. Because you know that you have the opportunity to come and ask God, but you won't. You try to do it in your own strength, in your own mind's way, and that's what's wrong now. We lose the opportunity that Dad is giving us while it's still day to get a thing done. And so we have no calendar or time to know when Daddy's saying it's too late. You supposed to have been and got that straight. You supposed to have been and get you some help about that. And then the last one is threats. That's what T stands for. Now I'm gonna get off here after I talk about this threat. No, I got to talk about the history and the specific. It's a 5 after the SWAT. So threats. Threats mean that you got to look at what is a possible threat to not just to your ministry or your business. What is a possible threat to your life? Many of us have got very up close and personal with people who are in ministry, who look a certain way. That's why it's so important that you don't miss these 8, because I'm going to be talking about those gatekeeper, like I said, governors, that we got to make sure we strategically put together. I'm still praying about mine. I got some, now I'm repositioning them, because if you're able to discern, you can discern whether or not they've really been on the wall for you. I'm telling you, we have got to look at the principle of making sure that the threats in your life, you need to make a list of them. Make a list of the threats, meaning that we know that they cannot touch the anointing, but who wants needless casualties? Who wants to try to fight against principalities and powers because you didn't get in position, you didn't strategically think about these others that I talked to you about, the strengths and the weaknesses and all that. You didn't think. And then now you either got a lawsuit because something happened in your ministry, or now you're dealing with warfare from witches and warlocks that's made you go through different challenges of being sick. And then you got other areas that's causing threat, spiritual lack, putting yourself in debt because you want to please and or appease those camaraderies or those people who are up close and personal in your ministry. You want to prove something to them that you can. It's a threat. Because now you put yourself in a position to get something or do something or be with someone that Daddy did not design for you to do. And so now you have a threat of being put to shame when Daddy is trying his best to handle the threat with you in private before he allowed it to be exposed publicly. Number 5. We got to make sure that we look at stabilization for the history and current position of the ministry and the stage of where you are now. Okay, so you want to look at the history, where you've been, that's what I've been meditating on, where I've been. I just really wept with the place that Daddy has taken me over my years, 40 years of ministry, 40 plus. And then history, and then the current position, okay, the state that you're in right now. Look at that to see where is the life stage at and where is the death stages at. So you can see if they're revisiting you. So you can see if these are cycles that Dad is trying to get you to kill and stop trying to revive things that he wants dead. That's why we got to know the life cycle. We got to know the lifetime. We got to know the life season. And we got to know the life stabilization cycle of making sure that we do what Daddy wants us to win and how. Or the thing is going to die and you're going to try to revive it. And it's not going to work. Number 6, and a lot of people trying to revive things by any means necessary. They'll lie and say God said to do a prophetic conference, to do a revival. And Daddy ain't said none of them. You think you get a bunch of people in there and you get some money. Then now you want to pimp people and try to pay the notes and pay this and pay that. When actually, Daddy, all he wants from you is to repent and to get before him and remember what he said, that you can stretch, but you can't stretch without strategy. And then number 6 is specific strategies, means that you're going to work on your goals, the ones where you are now. You're going to work on your position, and you're going to make sure that you look at the measurements. We all are given measures of rule. We all given measurements of things to do by Daddy. And look at the systems prophetically, apostolically, evangelically. Look at the systems. Look at them around you. Look at the region. Look at the people who you're connected to, who are not supposed to be connected or do not even qualify to be in these systems of prophetic and apostolic evangelical work he's called you to do. And then look at your actions. How frequently are you moving and what he's told you to do? What are you doing regarding the history? Are you still making this a historical thing? Some things people are doing historically, annually, that Daddy has really chopped that off. And you already got the sign because it's not growing. It's not fruitful anymore. But you still want to continue to do the same old annual thing over and over again. And ain't hardly anything coming out. Ain't no souls getting connected to be saved. Let me tell you something. Just because it was a good work does not mean that work need to continue in that fashion. That's why you need to have your right governing, apostolic, prophetic, gatekeeper team that Daddy can use. Now, I'm going to get off of here. Those questions that you need to continue to ask yourself is, where do I want to go? Where am I now? And how will we get to this destination? I pray this is going to bless you. And I expect to go on here this long. I was only going to go 15 minutes. But we're going to be talking on later on this week about those things about knowing where to go. Like I said, we're going to clarify some things that Daddy has been trying to keep you from wasting time with. We're going to clarify some challenges, some things that are uniquely done just for you, some things that you got people in your circle who could be holding you up. That's all I'm going to say right now. I pray that Daddy will use you to share this video, tell them the fast forward if they want to, but they better come back and listen to the beginning because Daddy is talking now. And you got to know that he is talking to you, that he wants you to strategically plan so that we can make sure that we stretch, not just the thing that we are in, but stretch the thing that he's trying to get us to do for the kingdom rainfall. Gotta go. Love you so much. Thanks for joining me. I see you there, Pam. Love you so much. Thank y'all for joining me. Please share this video. I gotta go eat. Love you. Talk to you soon.